Okay. The end scenario, the end party dynamics of Final Fantasy III 3D version, DS and Steam, have been pretty sorted out ever since the DS era. I mean, there's this video of low-level party, quote-unquote low-level party, low-level for the Iron Giant, right? The super boss of this game. And he's using the exact same party dynamic that I have, that I select, that I love, that's the best. So this has been sorted for 13, almost 14 years now. Viking, Sage, Bard, Core, with the damage dealer being the ninja here. And then the Bard is damage dealer and support at this point, so just ridiculous versatility all around, just total domination even at this level. And I can tell, judging by the HP and the levels being 72, that this person has not been black belt leveling to get the most HP that they could have. So still limited, but sorted. Definitely solved. Like this 100% the best choice outside of Onion Knights, of course. No Ultima weapon. This guy does have some equipment from the legendary smith, but then some not. So there's no ballad crown on the bard. It's just feathered hat, not even a ribbon, feather hat. Very strange. It's all good, I guess. But yeah, still beats it. Still pretty standard party, just absolutely simple as you like. I'll go over this main thing in great detail another time. The big aspect that's incredible is versatile mage, Viking, bard. That's the core. And then what's not shown is all of the items throughout the game, but specifically in this fight and a lot of the endgame fights and midgame fights, turtle shells, the bonus protect item stolen from sorcerers by the thief at job level 99 or so. It's just incredible. I mean, you're dominating every boss, reducing their physical very low. With the Sage, you can cast Catastro. I think that's optimization from my end. And then you're just really just getting rid of physical and magical stuff. You can use Hetra as well. Again, more optimization on my end, I think, where you are getting Shirages that could go through your reflect and heal you anyway when you're sort of at mid HP, or it can just, deal Faraga basically. So you're not losing anything. Same with Catastrophe, you're not losing anything if you don't get the reflex up. You're still getting slash, which is decent damage if it goes for that. It's just really nice. And then the healing, it's like you already have enough healing because you're mitigating so much damage, especially with a bard. You're getting extra mitigation, physical and magical at that point. So your damage dealer needs to be versatile. And here's what I really want to talk about. How do we choose our final party members throughout the mid-game? Not when it's pretty sorted with Ninja, but through progression once we finally have this Viking plus versatile mage dominance. How are we going to sort things out and pick the good damage dealers as we go? And, well, secondary benefits. That's the biggest thing with party dynamics. So long as you're basically making any enemy into a punching bag with like 0 damage incoming on your end, then you can look for effective damage with a bunch of other surrounding aspects, or what I call secondary benefits, that bring additional value to the party in other ways. And the more of these you can stack up while still doing effective damage, the better. Let's look at them. So, I'm not going to go over all of this right now. I'm just going to tell you about the 4 bolded ones, defenses, either through equipment or back row or literally just like bard and stuff. Agility. It's not only just characters that are damage dealers with high agility, but eventually just also bard, because bard song has so much priority Like, Sing just goes first all the time, guaranteed. You sing, you go first. It's ridiculous. Like, Bard is so strong. And we also have support. Again, Bard. Is Bard. Bard. You can tell why everybody runs Bard in the end game. It's ridiculous. It's like an end game class that you get at the Water Crystal. It's nonsense. Same thing with Viking, honestly. And then something that doesn't come up too often, along with defense, is healing. Defense definitely comes up more often, especially with magic defense in the late game. But healing, especially, is super niche. Super niche. And, well, you already know we got some Bard in here. Oh boy, yeah, we got Bard to help with dungeon crawls, but, something else that kind of helps with dungeon crawls, and is going to be the main topic of this video, the Knight. This is a damage dealer with good defense and some healing for dungeon crawls. But is it outclassed or not? Is it worth using or not? Now, my analysis for this took me through a bunch of peaks and valleys. It took me through a bunch of pitfalls before I came to my conclusion. And the whole process is the main focus of the video today. This process, it's got me geeked. I was thinking about it last night. I was just so excited to be going along this process, optimizing the mid-game progression. After all of these years, it's like there's room to go forward. Because from what I've seen, I'm the only one to have really showcased an optimized progression in terms of Ranger. People have done Scholar, I learned that from others. Red Mage, the versatile mage strategies, I've learned that from others as well. Ranger has been all me. Like, Thief, Monk, like, everything except for Ranger has been all me. Or no. Everything except for Ranger I've gotten from others. Ranger has been all me. Figuring out that Ranger at high job levels with Barrage, exploiting elemental weakness or not, is just absolutely shredding the mid-game in entirety, and then absolutely decimates Leviathan with light arrows in the Elven Bow, and it also just takes out Hecatoncheir and Titan, no problem. Takes out Doga and Une, absolutely no problem. Like, out-damaging Ninja, throwing Dragon Lances and Blessed Hammers at job level 99 each, at the same level, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So, Ranger is incredibly slept on. And because I figured that out, I knew that there was probably more mid-game progression to be done. And so doing this Knight analysis, super happy that I could actually find it. It takes a lot to actually work out mentally, is the Knight worth it? So many pitfalls. Let's start off. So number one is, it has these benefits. You can heal, but you can already do simple dungeon crawl healing with the Red Mage. You can already heal that up in the mid game, and then especially so with the Sage. It's totally fine. And I have to say, yes, sometimes that's true, but other times I can use that level 1 spell slot for Poisona and save the more effective cures on the Red Mage, and I can just keep going very, very efficiently just in case I get that bad luck with poison, you get that bad luck with back attacks or what have you, and you can pretty much just guarantee steamrolling through the dungeon. The second one would be the Knight's lack of agility. Okay, it has a lack of agility, sure. Let's actually write these down. So, con, Red Mage healing? Healing over shadows. So let's do cons question mark. And then no poison plus poison it. Let's see. Night poison equals slot efficiency, even with red mage sage. Let's capitalize red mage and sage. Let's see. Let's do this like this. The next one is low agility. Is that an issue? Not an issue. And that's because you can just pair it with your third character, your second damage dealer in this instance, with Ranger, which is going to dominate the mid game, or you can also use just Thief, and that's very effective when you have dividing encounters. So even if you get an encounter of 3 dividing enemies in the mid game with Ancient's Cave, and also there's Falgabard in the cave there. And then there's the Shadow Cave, Cave of Shadows. All 3 of those areas have dividing enemies, and it would normally be really annoying as a slower party member to deal with them, because they could multiply. But that really doesn't matter, because you're already going to be taking out 2 of them per round. And even if there's 3 of them, you're going to be provoking the 3rd one. It's not going to matter. Even if it doesn't hit your Viking and deals 0 damage, and if it multiplies, you're still going to have 2 for the next round. Again, you're going to take out 2 of them, and if one of them multiplies, then there's like just 1 of them left. At which point the Thief, still with that really high agility, is going to just take out that 1 before it multiplies. So you're just going to go 3, 2, 1, and they're all going to die eventually. And the encounter efficiency is not going to cost you, because in these instances, that last enemy is multiplying. And if it's hitting anybody, then A, we have big defenses, but B, we have, level 1 healing slots, or extras. So, not an issue. Other party members will cover for it. Plus, we have the knight's defenses and healing to compensate. And, big and here, a lot of the times, the defenses and healing of the knight is enough to cover for the whole dungeon. So, we are able to swap the red mage, or the versatile mage, which is going to be the red mage in this point, for bard. So, because we have that to compensate, we can swap red mage sometimes to bard. And that just allows so much extra stuff. Just allows, I'm just gonna put like exclamation points, because that's support, that's healing, that's just so much extra shit that we can dominate with. It's like, I'm chilling, I'm not worried about it. I'm mitigating so much with Viking, and then we're just getting free healing if we need to. And then we have dungeon crawling healing from the knight as well. It's just so free. And now here's the issue with swapping red mage to bard. But what about the... Now let's put this down here. What about the red mage spell slots for bosses? And I'm not worried about it. You know why I'm not worried about it? Because we got elixirs. When it's needed, we have elixirs. So when it's needed, we have elixirs. It's all good. I'm going to ignore that. We get the 1 elixir from Canaan, and then we can hold on to that for a while and use it at the end of one. Let's see. Where do I want to use that 1 elixir? That's tough to say. I think we use that elixir right away, but yeah, we do just to get the early loot in Canaan. We get the elixirs then from Saronian catacombs. Cave of Shadows is the main thing. The Cave of Shadows. I also want to say Lake Door, Bahamut's. Let's see, Lake Door, Bahamut's lair. So let's talk Lake, Cave of Shadows, Lake Door, and and Bahamut's lair. With 1 left over. And this is just that's all we need, really. That's perfect. Ignore. So we get the Saronian Catacombs elixirs, and what this means is when we swap our Bard that was originally Red Mage back to a Red Mage, we don't have to worry about losing all the spell slots because we can just drop an elixir and get all of them back. And this is only relevant when we have bosses at the end of dungeons. And in the mid-game, there are a lot of dungeons that don't have bosses at the end of them, which means we can take a night through no problem. Again, there are times when we don't even care to have a Bard, and we can just go Red Mage and that's fine. Because then we have the original benefit, which is poison efficiency, plus the defense, and then we can use healing if we really need to, but mainly just for the poison efficiency to make that Red Mage cures go the distance, making the use of the level 1 spell slots. So this is set. We have all this good here. At this point, we're thinking, it's like, when are we getting the job levels? It's actually... When are we getting Bard and Knight job levels with everything else? And the answer up here we can actually see when we can slot this in. Right with Fire Crystal. We swap that in there. We're actually going to swap Knight exactly for Monk there. So we just go Knight. And Red Mage is going to be the same. And with this, we can level up Knight at the same time as Ranger and Scholar. So, Fire Crystal for Knight. Oh, wrong thing. Let's go back up. And where are we going to do Bard? We're going to do for Water Crystal. So here we go. Bard. Again, we have another Bard later on when we want Sage and we want Bard still. We have our third character using Bard. So we'll go Knights, Dragoon, swap Dragoon for, or swap Dragoon for bosses. Boom. Basically, once we have Gungnir, and we have our Gungnir plus Trident, we're just going to be decimating bosses with the Dragoon, and just the damage outright. I mean, we're not going to need the level 1 spell slots for healing during a boss fight in the mid-game. No, we're going back to Red Mage, so we do Red Mage Bard, and you swap Bard for certain dungeon crawls. Honestly, you just swap Bard for dungeon crawls. No, we can leave certain dungeon crawls up. Do I want? No, I can just say dungeon crawls, really. Yeah. Swap Bard for certain dungeon crawls, or for dungeon crawls at this point, absolutely. And of course, like, as we're leveling up Viking, we're leveling up Bard, because we're probably have Red Mage at 99 at this point. And then, here, of course, we have leveling up Bard here, we're leveling up Dragoon here, and so we're sticking to the same, but then we have Thief for Gungnir, and that's not necessarily at level 99 yet. It could be, but it's not necessarily because the job growth is lower. So at this point, we could also, as we're leveling up Thief finally, finishing that off, once we're done with Bard, then we can swap back to Knight and finish that off along with Thief. And at that point, we're maxing Knight out, and we're good. So, Fire Crystal for Knight. Also, when maxing Thief, job level pre-Gungnir. And then Bard is literally just Water Crystal. So now I want to talk about what's the swap like for the end game. Are we going to keep the Knight around for the end game? No, we're not. Nope. It's over. It's just a mid-game thing, that's fine. Sage, just too valuable, because once we get to the end game, we're going to have like enemies that could just start casting spells at everybody, and it's just good to have that healing in the encounter. Not only that, but of course Viking is not going to be able to provoke every magic caster, especially during a back attack, and then being able to have damage dealers that can mess up enemies from the front row and the back row efficiently, like ninjas, are just going to be the way to go. Of course, during a boss fight, when we finally get to the end game, we're going to swap this third character out for Bard, and the whole time, it's just going to be Sage, Ninja. Except for Ahriman, where we go Dragoon to one-shot him, because that's funny. I love one-shotting Ahriman. But, with that in mind, with all of these questions answered, all of these pitfalls that I got myself in, it's like, what do I want to... How are we going to do this and that? We finally have the answer, which is Knight is optimal. Woo! Yay! Okay. Super happy. And so now I'm going to be able to do a run on the side, non-recorded, just dungeon crawls, just like classic progression, but yeah, these dungeon crawls with Bard, Viking, like mostly Ranger, but sometimes Thief, and then also Knight. Oh, that's gonna be so cool. And then like using Knight just over Monk in general, even if we take a damage dip, the Scholar is just one-shotting shit anyway, boss-wise, so I'm hyped for that. I'm so excited for that. That's gonna be so cool, so much fun. Oh man, it really makes me want to go on and play more, but soon enough. Thank you so much for watching. I love doing these analytical conclusions here, and testing and like going through, like back and forth, almost playing devil's advocate with myself. Like, is it good? Is it good? No, maybe not. Maybe. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 things. Like, really got to think about it. Finally came to that conclusion. Ah, it's so good. Now, it helps to come from a place of unbiased. So, if no matter the conclusion, I feel good. And so it's an unbiased process. If the knight is bad, then my previous assumptions were right. And I get to pat myself on the back and be like, oh, I was so smart. It feels good. But if the knight is good, then holy shit, I have new strategies that I can test out. And oh my god, I want to get back into the game and see how good that is, like in practice. And it's like, oh my god. So, turns out I got more game into both. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys some other time. Bye!